Hey guys, cleanblade here, bringing another Pokemon TCG online video, and today is the Talk Thursday, and I want to talk about how the formats and how the new set might affect the format, and how the new sets have affected formats in the past, such as Ancient Origins, Roaring Skies, stuff like that. Yeah, so right now I think the Ancient Origins format is pretty boring in my opinion, especially for Standard. There's only a few decks that are pretty good. I'm not really going to get into detail on that, but it does kind of matter a little bit, if that makes sense, because of course the more decks that are good, the more variety you have, but that really doesn't matter all too much in this conversation. No. I'm going to take a step back to Roaring Skies. Skies was a pretty good set release. We had a brand new deck, Ray, come out, which influenced Metal Ray later on down in the format with Aegislash, Metal Rayquaza. We had Virizion Ray, stuff like that for a little bit. And in fact, I'm playing against the Rayquaza deck right now as we speak, which is kind of odd. I wasn't actually expecting to. But yeah. But the thing is here is that Rayquaza, Roaring Skies, they printed a lot of good cards in this set. Rayquaza, Trainer's Mail, Shaman EXs, and a whole bunch of other good cards, and a lot of good stable cards, and even a lot of people may have not thought were good at first, but then slowly became good, if that makes sense. And I think that's what really makes a good set. Now, is not having all these filler cards, because Pokemon has a tendency to do this. They release all these cards, and 90% of them are only good cards, if that makes sense, compared to whether or not they release way more cards and have 60% of them be good cards and then the other 60 not be so good, if that makes sense. Now, they do that for marketing reasons, I know why, all that stuff. But for a TCG point of view, I think that's more of a bad play. Now, I only say this because in Ancient Origins, they went the more let's fill cards in route, because we lost so many supporters. They didn't reprint any, and we just lost tons of good supporters, and we got really bad supporters into the Standard format. Of course, Expanded was fine, so they switched everything down to Expanded for tournaments and stuff like that. But for Standard, all of a sudden it's left in this ramble shack of basically nothing but bad cards. Well, not bad, but decently okay cards compared to the cards that we had before, which weren't very great, if that makes sense. Now, this is kind of a bad thing, because going from all these speed cards and all these good consistent cards to Shauna and Birches and stuff like that, that's a big hit to a lot of decks, and that just slows down the pace of a lot of cards. We only had a few good sets come out, if that makes sense. Or, well, not a few good decks, should I say, not a few good sets, come out of Ancient Origins, if that makes sense. You have Vespiquen and Giratina that came out. And if you think about that, that's only a very small majority. Evolutions being in there, stuff like that, that are actually viable in Ancient Origins. Now, you go down into Expanded and everything's fine because you have all the good Expanded cards, stuff like that. You have N, Colress, you have all these good consistent cards. But in Standard, you're stuck with these cards that just aren't nearly as good, which really messes with the format. So you really have two decks that are really dominating in Standard. It's Giratina and Vespiquen. Now, going forward and looking into Breakthrough, I think they're kind of doing the same thing they're doing with Ancient Origins. They're reprinting a few good cards that we wanted, like Max Potions, stuff like that. But overall, the amount of cards that they're releasing, so many of them just aren't going to have a major impact on the Standard format. Now, this is only speaking from a Standard point of view. Expanded, in my opinion, is just fine. There's a big variety in all the decks that you could play, all that stuff. But Breakthrough will just do absolutely nothing, in my opinion. I think we'll get a little bit more fire play because of Houndoom, and that's just about it. Maybe some Mewtwo play, which is really nothing spectacular, but there's just so many filler cards in the set that I think it makes the set really bad, and I wish just like Pokemon wouldn't print so many bad filler cards. Now they do it for marketing so that people buy more packs so they can get all the good cards that they want, and it costs more money for them to do that, all that stuff. We understand that marketing point of view, but it makes the game less fun overall. Sure, you can say But if you're trying to have fun with the decks, don't play competitively then. But then it's like, what's the point in playing the decks online in a sort of view, if you get what I'm saying? Sure, you can play fun decks against your friends, stuff like that. But to an online point of view, it's like you play competitive decks to win online. Now, this may just be completely random of me, but yeah, this is basically how I kind of feel how Pokemon's currently going down on the current road. Now, I want to know if you guys share the same opinion with me, or not, stuff like that. So let me know down in the comment section below, all that stuff, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.